What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about something that I think is really important. So the Thunderbolts had a lot of different scripts and things before it ended up on its final script, which I might add is amazing. They had the Sentry and whatnot, but let's go over the things that were removed and early concepts, starting with number one. So number one is the Atomium version. This we actually heard from, I believe it was Can We Get Some Toast, who said it was on the Time at Island and they were going to go there. In one early version of Thunderbolts, the story included a bunch of adamantium, the indestructible metal tied to Wolverine. The plot was large-scale and ambitious, but was ultimately deemed too sprawling. Kevin Feige suggested a more focused, character-driven approach, which led to a scaled-down version. And it makes sense. Instead of doing, adamantium, they just went the super soldier route. They went a bunch of different mercenaries and people that, were not corrupted, but were like used and all those kind of things, and then had their way of redemption, which I think is amazing. And also with Brave New World essentially dealing with adamantium, I don't think they should have done it twice, but that's just my thought. Number two, set entirely in the vault. One version of the movie took place entirely in the vault, a secret underground prison. Characters were assigned to kill each other as part of a hidden agenda by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, aka Julia Louis Dreyfus. Pearson compared the tone to Die Hard with a twist. The team accidentally forms while trying to escape. This concept evolved into the film's final underground introduction, with later changes adding a road trip and showdown in New York City, which, it does have a lot of time in the vault, but I am glad they expanded it. They went more into Bob. They went into New York. They showed the Avengers Tower. They gave us Sentry, and they really dove into a lot more than need be. And I think that's what made the story so great, because they gave it a little bit more development. But number three, John Walker becomes the Red Hulk. Early drafts featured Wyatt Russell's U.S. agent, aka John Walker, who I might add is probably one of the standout characters of that film next to the Sentry, transforming into Red Hulk. Val tricks Walker with fake medication that secretly turns him into a weapon. The team would try to save him rather than kill him. This idea was ultimately scrapped in favor of introducing Lewis Pullman's Sentry, who better represented themes of inner conflict and instability, which I loved, and I would have been so mad if they wouldn't have had Sentry. Fun fact, Sentry is my favorite character of all time. But, to have him be Red Hulk, I think it would have been a little different, because people wouldn't have expected that. We all were expecting Thunderbolt Ross. Also, one of the things that they were talking about when they had the interview was that she was constantly giving him more super soldier serum and telling him, he needed more, and it became less effective over time, that he continued to need more and more and more. So I think that would have been a cool way to mess with his head, but at the same time, I wouldn't have wanted him to be Red Hulk, especially in a confined area. That would have been hectic. Number four, Taskmaster Survives. Taskmaster, aka played by Olga, was originally part of a major subplot with Ava Ghost, Hannah John Kamen. Both characters shared a background of being lab experiments, with Ava helping Taskmaster adapt to the outside world. A reoccurring gag involved Taskmaster forgetting her surroundings and attacking teammates. She was really mainly going after John Walker, but it was cut for tonal clarity. In the final version, Ghost shockingly kills her super early on, straight up headshot to the dome. But the cool part was they would have formed kind of like a sisterly bond, and they would have went against Bob together in a Jujutsu Kaisen form, I was told by Can We Get Some Toast, which I thought would have been awesome. Number five, Goliath Returns. Now this is one I talked about many months back, and I heard this from Daniel RPK. Lawrence Fishburne, aka Bill Foster, aka Goliath, nearly returned. He was tied to the Red Hulk storyline and had a Goliath moment. However, the plot didn't fit, and cutting him back made Ghost more isolated and sympathetic. Now, not true at all. The story behind that was that Ghost was supposed to be taking care of him, trying to get him medication, and Val was using that to her advantage. He had cancer, was what was going on, and she was, trying to do whatever she could, because he was her only father figure that she had left. 6. More in the Void. The Void, created by Sentry's darker half, originally had a longer, more surreal sequence. Director Jake Schreier reimagined it as realistic, being John Malkovich-style rooms. Many characters had shame rooms, but only a few made the final cut. And if you don't know, they talked about Bucky, they talked about Ghost, they talked about Yelena, Bob, Red Guardian, and all of the cast. Obviously we saw a couple of them, but to see the Red Guardian and the Gulag, and then to see Bucky at Boy Scout camp and stuff would have been great, like to tie these in and to give them these weird moments. I would have loved to see more of like a Winter Soldier-esque thing, him constantly going back into these moments, like maybe he was offing people and then he would like click out of it and then he would click back into it, something along those lines. Number 7. Possible Scarlett Johansson cameo. Yelena revisits her memories, which could have featured Natasha, Black Widow. Pearson can't confirm if Johansson was in any draft, but admits it was probably discussed. Now, the reason why behind that, what people were rumored is because apparently she had I believe it was a producer's credit, but we're thinking more of the lines just because it was going to be Black Widow 2 and, you know, tying in with a lot of her things and the name Black Widow. But that's for another story, I guess. And finally, number 8, ending with a Thunderbolts or Avengers reveal. In Pearson's draft, Val introduces the team to the public as the Thunderbolts. Yelena claims control with the line, "You work for us now." Kevin Feige's note. She should have introduced them as the Avengers. Pearson took that as a high praise and a sign of Marvel's long-term plans, which obviously in the end got changed. It became the Avengers with the Z, as by Alexi, who said it would be a great way to stop copyright. Love it. That's all. There's 8 of these right now. Obviously, there'll probably be more. We'll probably find out more. We recently saw what Steven Yeun would have looked like as Sentry. We've seen a lot of their costumes and yada yada whatnot. But let me know which one was your favorite of the 8. I personally love the fact that maybe John Walker would have become like a Hulk and they would have, you know, had to like calm him down, but maybe at the same time not kill him off. And then it would have given us President Ross just being President Ross, and it would have changed that whole story and maybe made Brave New World a little bit better because they really advertised the Red Hulk throughout the entire trailers. And even though it was good, it really killed the hype because there was no surprises in that film. As always, my name is Bretta. Let's get to 3,400. We're at 3,300 now. We've done 100 subscribers a week, and we have no stopping in sight. We're on the road to 100K, and we can hopefully get there by the end of the year. As always, hope you guys have a great one, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.